Ray Hutton, a name synonymous with glamour, jazz, and big band swing in the 1930s and 40s. The blonde bombshell whose high-energy performances electrified audiences and whose all-female band broke barriers in an industry dominated by men. She was dazzling, radiant, and untouchable, or so it seemed. But beneath the sequins, satin gloves, and perfect curls lay a truth she carried to her grave. Ray Hutton wasn't quite who the world believed her to be. Let's step back to 1934, the height of the Great Depression. The country is reeling, but Ina Ray is thriving. She's 20 years old, fronting the Melodiers, one of the first all-female big bands to gain national acclaim. Her stage presence is magnetic. Her vivacious moves and sultry voice land her the title of the Blonde Bombshell of Rhythm. And oh, how that blonde hair became a symbol. It wasn't her style, it was her shield. What most of her adoring fans don't know, and what many still don't, is that Ina Ray Hutton was born Odessa Cohen in 1916 Chicago. Her parents were African American, and Ina herself was listed as Negro on her birth certificate. Yet, as she ascended the ranks of stardom, she reinvented herself, slipping into a carefully constructed identity that would grant her access to the opportunities denied to so many Black artists of her time. Why did she do it? Was it ambition, survival, or both? It's hard to say. The 1930s were brutal for Black musicians. Segregation in the United States wasn't just a social norm, it was a law. Black performers faced systemic exclusion, from restricted venues to lower pay and limited access to mainstream media. For Odessa Cohen, to step into the world of jazz as herself would have meant constant battles. But as Ina Ray Hutton, she could move freely through the highest echelons of entertainment, celebrated and adored. But let's not mistake this for a simple story of deception. Ina Ray Hutton wasn't just a performer. She was a pioneer. Under the leadership, the Melodiers became one of the most successful bands of their time. They toured nationally, performed live on radio broadcasts, and even appeared in short films. Her artistry was undeniable. She had the kind of charisma that could make an audience forget their troubles, if only for a while. The way she conducted her band, flashing her trademark smile, her perfectly manicured hands moving with precision, was mesmerizing. But the questions linger. How much of her success was built on the privilege of passing? Did she ever feel trapped by the mask she wore? Or was it a necessary part of her survival in a world that demanded conformity from women and segregation from Black artists?
And now a medley of two favorites, Stardust and Organ Grinder Swing.
In private, Ina avoided discussing her past. Her family background was an enigma, carefully guarded. Even those closest to her said she rarely mentioned her early life, but traces of the truth were there for those who knew where to look. Some historians point to her upbringing in Chicago's South Side, a predominantly Black neighborhood, as a clue. Her siblings and parents were all listed as African American in various records, and some who knew her before fame whispered about her true heritage. But in the public eye, Ina Ray Hutton was untouchable, a perfectly constructed icon of white femininity and jazz brilliance. And yet, as the years went on, cracks began to show. After disbanding the Melodiers, Ina struggled to maintain her spotlight. Television was emerging, and with it came sharper scrutiny. Could her carefully crafted persona hold up under the gaze of a new medium? Ina eventually stepped away from the limelight in the 1950s. She faded into obscurity, leaving behind a legacy that's equal parts brilliance and mystery. She never publicly acknowledged her roots, and perhaps that was her way of preserving the image she worked so hard to create. But history has a way of unraveling even the best kept secrets. Today, Ray Hutton's story forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about race, identity, and opportunity in America. Was she a trailblazer, or was she a tragic figure forced to deny her heritage to achieve success? Maybe she was both. In the end, Ray Hutton lived a life full of rhythm and reinvention. Her story, a reminder that behind every glittery stage persona lies a complex human being, a woman who danced her way into history even as she carried the weight of a secret. If you found this story as captivating as we did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. We'll continue to uncover more untold stories from history, stories that reveal the hidden truths of those who lived in the shadows of society's boundaries.